Okay, guys, there's a lot I want to go over today. I want to go over all the action that happened from Thursday evening into Friday close. I want to talk about the bull flag that I have been discussing for over a month. I want to talk about a bull flag on a macro level that I had not discussed, but I was watching as well, and that worked out really well too. And I want to talk over some basic points about what I'm showing you every day. So the first thing I want to talk about is my levels. My levels are conceived from the support and resistances of the price action. It's based on action from today, yesterday, last week, and so on. And most of the time, the more recent action is what I'm using. But if I scroll back, or if you scrolled back and looked at the levels, usually they'll work with previous time frames at the same spots. So that's it. The ability to read it is a science and an art. I can't explain it, but you just have to have a lot of experience and understand how price moves as it goes through these ranges before it breaks out or breaks down. So just real quick summarization of that. Blue levels are macro major levels. They're levels that have been relevant for months, if not years, and are typically major inflection points for price where they'll consolidate around before taking the next leg up or down, or reject hard, etc. White levels are more common. They're just major levels within the past recent price action, as well as weeks and months as well, but they're not as relevant usually as the blue ones. And orange are just really minor profit taking levels where if you don't have a major level that's close to 7 to 10 points above for a profit, you can use a minor level. And then when you see price hitting minor levels precisely right below major levels, it kind of gives you confluence. Maybe like price might sometimes over or undershoots, and like will come down below a major level, tag a minor level below, and then pop back up. That's like a nice way to be like, okay, it just kind of dipped a little bit for support, but then it's bouncing right back. So I just wanted to talk about that first. Moving forward, the first thing I want to discuss again is the amazing bull flag that I had been tracking sometime in like mid March. That was evolving. It was smaller before, then it expanded more, and you can see by the end point we had multiple touches below here, and then multiple touches up here, and then finally we took off from this major zone that I had marked before, with the takeoff right into the bull flag, sold for 100 points back down, reloaded, and then took off finally right through the bull flag until we almost retested it before the weekend close. I'll get to that later. I also want to discuss this pink line, which is a macro full bull flag from a while ago. We were inside of it for a while and we just are breaking out of it now. As you can see, we started the month directly selling into it, selling down before going back up and consolidating above it, eventually tagging it again on the top, setting the high for March before coming back and consolidating around it before, I would argue, on Tuesday giving its last touch, and on Wednesday overnight, one more tag before eventually taking off for good. With all that said, let's get more into the details about how price action respected my levels Thursday afternoon into Friday close. And let's just say it played out really well. If you're able to understand what I'm about to talk about, then you should have a good grasp now, you can say, of how to trade these levels that I'm producing every day nearly. So first thing I want to get us to is the Thursday evening open. So I consider that around 5. I had a feeling because of the high volatility we've had due to the tariff news that I had to do the chart earlier than later. So I actually started the charts around like 2:30, 3 o'clock on Thursday, and I uploaded a video suggesting that the first setup I'm looking for, ideally, is a failed breakdown of the slope. We were up here at the time, and we were starting to go down a little bit, so I wanted to see price dip and recover this level right here, where I have FBD, and then recover this low. So you can play it kind of twice. You can use this as a failed breakdown, but also if this was up higher, like all the way up here, then you could just do a dip and recovery. And you can see here clearly 11-point candle through the level after dipping below, back testing it once more, and then taking off. So ideally you could have gone long here, honestly, because of the strength here. It's not like a 3 or 4 point candle. Or you could just wait for a little bit of consolidation on the 15-minute here, and then anytime around here you could have entered. Or if you really were risk averse, then once you start seeing price respect on the third candle and start pushing up, you can go long somewhere around like 10.28, and that worked out great. Directly went up. So that failed breakdown was a simple setup. It worked out really well all the way from around 10.22 until the high was 10.70. So 11.07. So almost 80 plus points right there on such a simple setup. That's our bread and butter. Let's look at how price reacted. You can see here how I was playing this level. First it was a reclaim, then it became a dip and recovery, then eventually it was a failed breakdown, but that's for later. So the reclaim was the first setup I had. As you can see, we pushed right through. I had mentioned as well, it had been tested twice already, once and two, so that's why I didn't need to like test and come back down and take off. So if you had missed this setup, you should have been ready for the reclaim here. 14-point candle through the reclaim. Again, a high volatility candle. If you see that, you could have just entered the position with your stop loss below the low here. You're seeing the power, you're seeing the simple push through. You had the power of a failed breakdown below you, so you know there's an active bullish setup. So that would have been your second entry right there. Then you can see price clearly went up to this, sold a little bit, consolidated below before taking off at 6 o'clock. So again, perfect setup. Just understand the levels were not touched. You can check the other videos. You can see that. And then what do we talk about blue levels? They usually produce big sells and big buys. Obviously, you want to make sure the setup presents before you enter anything like that. But here you can see clearly price shot up and came back down. One could have, if they wanted to, I had no position. I wouldn't. But here, if you wanted to short, you could have just, after it came down, shorted with your stop loss above this high. Or even here, after this little bit consolidation, and you see this start going down, you could have sold below this low and kept the stop loss here too. Just kind of giving that back. Then dip in recovery. So my mentoree was asking me, what can I do when the pricing was around here somewhere? And I said, well, I would personally probably wait for a dip in recovery of the reclaim level. Again, 1, 2, push through, reclaimed it, came for a back test. You can see exactly took off from there. And what do we get? We got a little bounce here, nothing substantial, a second bounce, but a recovery, dip in recovery of the level. And then here, a little bit more of a dip, and then started taking off. So again, you could have gone long somewhere here probably. And 10.44 up to here is an easy 8 points, and the rest is extra. Moving forward again, I want to just show you how well these levels respected. You can see price consolidated below before taking off. You could have went long here on the reclaim of this level. See the first test of it, came back, second, third, and then finally pushed off, go long there. That worked level to level. We tagged this directly, sold back down, consolidated, a dip in recovery again after the reclaim. Same thing here, reclaim, dip in recovery, reclaim, dip in recovery. My levels need to go level to level. I'm not looking to every time go straight up. As long as it goes from this level to the next major level, that's a successful trade. I'm not trying to do these reclaims all the time, just showing you how much we could learn just from today's action. Then again, like I said, reclaim. This is also kind of a reclaim. You see we tested the level, sold off, came right back to it, kind of tested it from below a little bit here, but more importantly, pushed through with a 15-point candle. You can see here this level respected, back test of the reclaim, then pushed through, and that level respected. Everything respected exactly on spot. Sold back down from that point exactly down to this zone. A little bit of a consolidation before sell. You could go short below this candle if you were dying to. Came down to the major level, tried to push, we didn't. Trapped some shorts, trapped some longs, and then until finally it sold. That sell was great. Coming down, I was not seeing anything. A failed breakdown, this would have been nice. I had a failed breakdown setup of here as well, maybe at this low. That did not work out. Then you kind of just got like a near back test of this. Nothing played out, so it would have been tough to take. You would have just been standing on hands. This 115-minute candle, nothing really popped. This would have been a failed breakdown, potentially this low. We didn't get that. They tried to, couldn't hold it. Tried to do a failed breakdown of this, but never touched the level. until finally it dipped and recovered the level properly here. So this was a great setup if you had been patient. Nothing was presenting here, just a bunch of chop until here finally we dip and recovered the level, as well as recovered these lows technically in a way. So that was a great setup to go long. That just pushed right through. Nearly backtest this level up here before selling down to backtest this level. Then actually did reach this level exactly. You can see push into the major, sold back down. Majors often produce reactions. Push through again, slow down. Just choppy stuff here. Nothing really exciting. You should have been positioned down here. Um, came back up and then just sold heavy all the way down. Set up a failed breakdown of this. That did work out. As you can see, we reclaimed this level a couple points above 1023, and that came up all the way to 1040, 17 points plus more. Just continued choppiness until we got a nice failed breakdown here I caught. So this is the one I waited for. I didn't catch this. It was very volatile and choppy at the time. It was also just waking up. I already had an open runner from the day before, so I was gonna let that do some work. But here finally, this went below at 1045, so probably go above a couple points. You go long right here, 974 for example. That worked out well for almost 18 points. Then just choppiness before selling down. Here, I just want to mention this is the top of the local bull flag that we've been watching since March. We almost tagged it, but did not quite tag it. I really think now, as I'm done reviewing for the past day, that we should get some type of dip and reaction below here, but we'll see what I can do. As of now, let's see. We don't really have anything crazy. There's kind of a low here, potentially an active failed breakdown here. What I would be looking for though is if I had no position as I set up the levels, will be the reclaim of this level, 970. And ironically, one of my mentorees asked me for the levels below 970 when I provided the levels to him. And at the time, we were here, and I told him, honestly, I think 970 should be enough for now. I don't think you'll need more than that. And just based on what I was seeing in action, and ironically, where do we bounce from Friday morning? 970. Where do we get a nice failed breakdown? Again in the morning, 970, before eventually selling down and back testing 970 from the bottom here now. So I think 970 is the big level here. If we can go above and hold it, that should see some good push above. Going below, I think if we can get a failed breakdown of this major level or just a dip in recovery of that, as you can see, we went through once, twice until finally going through that. I deleted all my minor levels below just so it's clear for now. But yeah, realistically, a dip in recovery of this major level or below this bull flag one more time will be great. If we don't get that, maybe we can get a failed breakdown of this low. And realistically, we might not get any of that. And I think my idea in the open is we're probably going to gap up open likely, and we're going to go straight shooting back up. That's probably more likely. So I hope this helped. I really think this was a really good educational day. As you can see, levels respected tremendously from here all the way up here, all the way down here. Let's see if we can get some great levels for Sunday open, and I'll get back to you guys.